Tonight we're starting the show a little differently. We're going to be starting with our special guest, who is Julius Jackson. Julius, how are you?
I'm good, Ingram, and hello to everybody listening, and hello to all the guys in the room, man. How you guys doing?
So, Julius, for those people who don't know who you are, just give us a rundown as your record and what division you fight in.
All right, my name is Julius Jackson. I fight at super middleweight. My record is currently 19-0 with 15 knockouts, and I'm ranked 5 by the IBF.
Okay, Julius, obviously, those who don't know who Julius Jackson is, he is the son of the former middleweight champion of the world, Julian Jackson, the legendary puncher. So, the floor is open, basically. Lee, you can start. Any questions for Julius?
Who would you like to fight in the past or the present?
Who I would like to fight in the past or the present?
Yeah.
In the past, I don't really have any I'd like to fight, except for the guys that beat my dad. I'd like to fight anybody who beat my dad. Right now, I really would love to get in the ring with Chavez Jr. or Badu Jack. Those are the two guys I really would get in the ring.
Yeah.
Right. Adam.
Yeah, hi Julius. So you say you're ranked 5 in the IBF. They're quite strict with their mandatories. Being in the top 5, I'm not sure. I don't know too much about the guy you're fighting next, but is that the route you're wanting to take? Obviously, James DeGale holds that title. Is that the best option for you at the moment? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it is the best opportunity for me right now. The next guy I'm fighting is definitely a winnable fight for me. So I'm gonna be fully prepared for him and beat him, and then just get prepared for DeGale. I think it will make for a great fight. Our styles are a little similar, and I think I might have a little more of a pop than him, but I think it will make for a great fight.
Yeah, and is that realistic in the next sort of 12 months? A fight with the IBF world champion, or as you said there, it might even be sooner than that.
Yeah, it could be sooner. I could once I get through Jose, then maybe they're planning for maybe late December or early January for the world title fight. And
finally, you say about Badu Jack there. What did you think of his performance against George Groves?
Was going to outbox him a little more, but Badu was able to impose his will and land more shots and get the victory. So it was a good win for Badu.
Excellent. Well, fantastic. Well, thanks, Julius.
Jason
No problem,
Gavin.
man.
Sir, how are you? Mr. Julius, sir, it's a pleasure to be talking to you, especially with your father, Julian Jackson. Is it tough living under his shadow, so to speak?
A little bit. There's a lot of people who have expectations of me being a knockout artist,
Right.
So that's there, but my dad, he really doesn't put that pressure on me. He really is fine with me being who I am and fighting my style. I'm more of a boxer than he was, and he's totally fine with that. So from the inside, there is no pressure, but from the outside, it's just a little bit of pressure.
You mentioned you wanted to fight with Chavez Jr. I know his father is really involved in his training and almost to the extreme. Is your father involved in your training, or is he one of your trainers, or he let you do your own thing?
Yeah, he is one of my coaches. My uncle, his younger brother, is my head coach, but he's the second in command, and he does a beautiful job. My dad is really knowledgeable in the sport, and we're really trained old school style, and I love our relationship, and so far it's going great.
I have one more question. Under your alias, I'm on Boxer. I can looking you up now. It says the chef. Are you actually a chef?
That's what I would.
Yeah, I actually am. I graduated from culinary school in 2008, and I currently I'm a partner in a catering company here at home in the Virgin Islands. And I actually just made my cooking channel debut. I'm on a show on the cooking channel as a guest chef. And hopefully I'll do Food Network next. I got a couple of days to do a guest chef appearance on Food Network. So
Wow, that's awesome.
man, I'm actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good luck on your next fight, sir. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Chris Golding.
Evening, Julius. I must say I've really enjoyed the interviews and the work you've done so far with Ingram on Bayloric. It's been it's been nice to see the journey so far, and sure the journey will continue on swimmingly well over the next next year or so. You've recently signed, I believe, with Al Heyman. What wonderful exposure for you. I'm sure, hopefully, get through the next fight with ease, and in the next sort of 6 months, a year, you'll get your opportunity. You'll get your shot at one of the belt holders. I certainly agree with you. I think with Styles with James DeGale, that would be an amazing fight, and that would be a real treat for us UK boxing fans. What I was going to ask you was, obviously coming up fight in the next couple of weeks. How's sort of camp been going? How's sort of training been going for your forthcoming fight?
Yeah, camp's been going great. I've been in and out of training camp for a while now, but now that we finally got the date settled and everything, I brought in one spar mate, David Benavidez, and he's a tough super middleweight kid coming up, and yeah, it's been going great. Sparring's great. I feel great and ready to take this next step in my career. I should be actually in Big Bear right now with Triple G, getting him ready for his fight, but my team decided to keep me here in the Virgin Islands and do camp here. So, and I think that was a good move. So, yeah, we're prepared.
Well, I'm really pleased you've got a date set in the diary, because it's been has it been a wee little while since you had your most recent fight before this one. I'm hoping that going forward, now that you've got the deal with the PBC, and are you going to be looking in the next looking to get out again, maybe end of this year, sort of January, February time?
Yep, yeah, that's the plan. They've been talking about once I win this fight, hopefully in December or January, we'll set the world title fight.
Wow, that is really, that's really good to know. So I wish you all the best for the forthcoming fight, and certainly keep my fingers crossed that come January, February time, you'll get your shot at the title.
Yes, thank you, man. I really appreciate the support, brother.
No worries, bro.
Dave Allen.
Yeah, I'd just like to hear your thoughts on the British super middleweight, like DeGale, Groves, and the Smith brothers. Just your general thoughts and who you think is the best out of the bunch.
The best, I would have to say, I think DeGale might be one of the top, because he's a great boxer and he's got great boxing skills. Groves is definitely up there. He's really tough and strong. I've actually worked side by side with some Big Bear camps ago and seen his work, and he's just got a really strong work ethic. But in skill-wise, I think DeGale is one of the best at super middleweight right now. So I'm excited to go up against him, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, that's cool. Right, best of luck anyway.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Julius, I've got a few questions for you. The first question is, you've been out of the ring for almost a year now. Surely before you signed with Al Heyman, you were pretty consistent and fighting regularly in the Virgin Islands. Has this move been something that you've been expecting, the fact that you'd been out for so long in the ring?
No, I wasn't expecting to have such a big break in between. But I think it's just because of where I'm at in my career. I'm high in the rankings, but I'm still not that big money fight. So it's hard to get the guys above me to fight me. But I'm high risk. I got a pretty good knockout percentage, so I think it's just kind of where I'm at. It's hard to get any good fights that are TV worthy because Al does want me on the TV. So I think it's just where I'm at right now. It's just been up to land me a good fight.
I know you said that you were up at Big Bear at one point, and I think there was a conversation between yourself and maybe Groves' camp that Groves wanted you to spar with him for Badou Jack, which would have been probably good sparring. Why did you decline that?
Yeah, they did call for us, but my date was still in limbo, so my team decided to not let me go and be up there with him because once I agreed, I couldn't pull out. So but they decided to keep me here because my date could have changed it, come earlier or later. So we decided to stay and not go to camp with Groves.
One of the things I admire about you as a fighter is that you are what I call the next generation boxer in terms of the fact that not just that you're boxing, but you've got interests outside of the ring. I've seen the whole thing of you being a chef and being on the channel. Congratulations to that, by the way. It looked really good. Also to the fact that you market yourself very well. There's across the Virgin Islands, there's photographs of you modelling watches and doing bits of modelling yourself. What made you go down the route to brand yourself in the way that you have, which is very admirable, and more fighters should do it?
I don't know. I've just always been that guy. I never settled just on one thing, and me being a chef is just another passion of mine. It's what I do. It's another thing that I love. So it just made sense to kind of just go with both of them. My dad, I was actually qualifying for the Olympics, and I told my dad like, hey, I might just quit school and just fully focus on training. And my dad was like, no, man, you better finish school and get your associates. And and my dad really pushed me in that way too. To why not do it? You can do it. Just do both. And I think people admire that too, like you said yourself. I think it's me just being myself and doing what I love, and I think people see that and admire that. So I just let people know, and I get people asking me all the time, what is it I'm up to, and I just kind of put it out there, and the brand has just kind of built itself.
Well, it's fantastic what you're doing there. I know I've asked you the question before, but I get the itch to ask you again. Do you still spar with your old man or not?
If I still spar with him?
Yeah.
No. A long time ago, Dad decided that he would never step in the ring with me or my brother again. I was an amateur fighter getting ready for a fight, and I had to miss sparring on Friday because of school or something, and he decided to spar with me on Saturday. Everybody else had sparred except for me, so he said, I'll spar with you on Saturday. I said, okay. It was just me, him, and his wife in the gym sparring. And in the second round, I put him down with a straight right hand to the body. And he said, I'll never put on gloves with you ever again. From then, he decided to not spar with us.
Well, I guess your dad would be, he'd be the best chin checker around, don't you think?
Definitely. He'll definitely check if you got a chin or not.
Okay, finally, your opponent. Was there any reason why this opponent was selected?
Well, I think I was supposed to fight with Julius Medina. He's number 4. For some reason, he just kept asking for more time. I think he had injured his hand or something. So the IBF finally decided to move on. And then I was supposed to fight the guy who's under me. What is his name? I think he's from the UK, too.
Callum Smith? No, you can't be Callum Smith. Maybe Callum Smith.
No.
Rocky Fielding?
Rocky Fielding, yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to fight Rocky Fielding, but both teams, my team didn't want me to go fight in the UK, which I was begging them to let me fight in the UK. So they didn't want me to fight in the UK, and his team didn't want it in the US.
Okay then, Julius, thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you fight soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys for having me on this. Great question.
Thanks, Julius.
Thanks,
All right,
Julius.
guys.
Thanks, Julius.
Yeah,
thanks very much for coming.
Thanks, Julius. Yeah, cheers, mate.
Thank you, guys, man. Thanks for having me.
Good luck.
There you go. That was Julius Jackson, ranked number 5 by the IBF. Guys, your thoughts?
Wow, that was a bit of an exclusive there, Ingram. Obviously, we know he's got his, should we say, his marking time fight? I think that's probably a fair assumption in October. And then, come January, February time, him being number 5, he could well be next in line for the shot at James DeGale. When you think about it logically, I don't know whether it's been set yet, but I know it's been mooted, as we were discussing the other day, that Lucian Bute is more than likely next in line for James DeGale. Now, of course, when you look at the rankings, Lucian Bute, although he's a name, he's not in the top sort of 10 names. So you've got to, if you use a bit of comments, a little bit of lateral thinking. This next one's a voluntary defence.
Yes.
And it could well be, obviously this is, we're talking about October, it could well be that come, I'd say the early part of next year, January, February time, the IBF will call a mandatory, and the next fighter in line could well be our guest tonight, the chef Julius Jackson. And I'll put it out there that is going to be an amazing fight. The styles will I think will gel very, very well. Both are very talented boxers, and both have got a dig on them. And I'll tell you what, if that comes off January, February time next year, we're in for a treat.
We are indeed. The thing is, Chris, I think Badu Jack would have been a better fight for Julius Jackson than James DeGale, personally. If I was matching him up, I'd get him for Badu Jack.
I think he'll smoke Badu Jack.
That's why I take that fight.
But then again, we keep saying this. I keep saying this, that I always thought that Badu Jack had his day in the sun against Darrell. But fair play, you called it right on last week's show, Ingram. You did say that Badu Jack is dangerous, and he proved that at the weekend, of course. And but still, I mean, I'd fancy the chef, young, fresh, up and coming, as we discussed. The thing I like about Julius is he's very level-headed, and it's refreshing, as you did mention in your questions. He's got a trade. He's got something to fall back on. He's got he's obviously a good-looking young chap. He's got his a secondary career as a chef. He's got a bit of TV exposure. He's got everything going for him, that young man, and I think maybe not January, February time, but certainly the middle of next year, we've been talking to a future world champion here tonight.
That's what I'm feeling. That's my feeling. I think he should fight Jack, personally. I don't know why they're going for DeGale. I'd rather him fight Jack.
Yeah.
So, Lee?
No, I was just agreeing with what Chris said. I do think it'd be a better fight with Badu Jack, definitely. Him and DeGale would be a great fight, definitely. I were interested to find out that he'd been sparring with Triple G, though. That's one thing I were going to ask him.
It's just quite interesting how the super middleweight division's kind of opening up a bit, with Andre Ward probably moving up to light heavyweight. Carl Froch has retired. DeGale's a kind of new champion, and people think he's kind of beatable. Badu Jack, the other champion, he's very beatable. Arthur Abraham is beatable as well, so he's definitely got a chance. He's an undefeated fighter who's got a bit of a bang. Could be a future star, but it remains to be seen.
Absolutely. Jason and Dave, you've both got anything to say?
Yeah, I have something to add. It's awesome to have a father, Julian Jackson, and you see a lot of these other fighters who has a superstar father. George Foreman, Chavez. I mean, Oliver McCall, his kid. All these guys fight, and sometimes some of these guys, it's almost to the point where they get too overwhelmed with everyone asking them about their father's career rather than their own career. And I think it all depends on how Jackson's going to take that. He seems like he's level-headed, and like you said, he has a lot of things to fall back on. Hopefully his boxing, he gets his own identity, and he's able to run with that. So the future seems bright for him, and I'm definitely a fan, and I'm excited to watch him see his next fight.
Fantastic stuff. Dave?
Yeah, from the little I've seen, I'll be honest, I don't see him beating DeGale, Abraham, Groves. I don't see him beating any of them guys, but, he's obviously very talented. He's going to get his shots, so the best of luck to him, but, I personally don't see him beating any of them.
What about Badu Jack?
No, Badu Jack is a very good fighter. He really surprised me the other day.
Yeah, he did.
He took Groves' big shots. Groves is a huge puncher. He made one of the biggest punches at super middleweight, and he took them and he beat Groves pretty comfortably. And Groves is a really good fighter, no matter what anyone says. So I don't see Julius Jackson, lovely fella, a good fighter, but I don't see him beating any of them names. Badu Jack, DeGale, Andre Ward, the Durrell, well, especially Andre Durrell. They're really good fighters, and he's gonna have to be really special to beat them.
Time will tell, I guess. Time will tell.